Malcolm-Jamal Warner's wife confesses the hidden pain and secrets of their love. From the outside, Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life looks like the perfect picture. To millions, he will always be Theo Huxtable, the bright and witty son from The Cosby Show, the face of black excellence in television during a time when representation was rare. He grew up in front of the camera, survived the pitfalls of Hollywood child stardom, and evolved into a respected actor, director, and musician. His career is decorated with accolades. His reputation remains remarkably clean in an industry filled with scandal, and his artistry continues to earn him respect. But behind the camera, away from the stage, and outside the reach of applause, there existed another truth, one only his wife knew. Her confession revealed that their marriage was not the fairy tale the public imagined. Instead, it was a relationship filled with trials, sacrifices, and quiet battles no one outside their home ever saw. She peeled back the curtain to reveal the hidden pain her husband carried, the secrets of their love that sustained them, and the resilience it took to remain together when the weight of his past threatened to tear them apart. She began with a truth so disarming that it silenced anyone who listened. Loving Malcolm has been the greatest gift of my life, but it has also been the hardest fight of my life. People see the smile, the career, the respect. What they don't see are the shadows that live inside him, shadows born from a lifetime of loss, expectation, and silence. Those shadows, she explained, began early, the burden of a childhood star. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was born in Jersey City in 1970, raised largely by his mother Pamela. She was not just his caretaker, she became his manager, his protector, and his guide through the treacherous waters of Hollywood. From an early age, he showed creative promise, and by just 13, he landed the role that would change his life forever: Theodore Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Instantly, Warner went from an ordinary child to one of the most famous teenagers in America. The show became a cultural juggernaut, drawing tens of millions of viewers each week. His face was everywhere, his voice was recognized everywhere he went. And while that kind of success is a dream for many for a young boy, it became a double-edged sword. His wife confessed how much those years scarred him. Imagine being a child and never having the freedom to just exist. Every laugh, every mistake, every word is judged by millions of strangers. That's how he grew up. Fame gave him everything and took something away at the same time. It took away his sense of safety, his ability to be vulnerable without fear of judgment. That doesn't go away when the cameras stop. That stays with you, and as his wife, I had to live inside those scars too. The scars showed themselves in silence. She revealed that in their marriage, Warner often shut down emotionally. Arguments didn't end in shouting matches. They ended in long silences where he retreated into himself. To me, that silence felt like rejection, but to him, silence was survival. It was his way of protecting himself from a world that had always watched too closely. For years, I mistook his quiet for indifference, when in truth, it was the opposite. Silence was where he went to process his pain. The ghost of Michelle Thomas. If childhood fame created the first set of wounds, then love created the deepest. His wife bravely confessed that her husband's most haunting shadow was the memory of actress Michelle Thomas. Known for her role on Family Matters, Thomas was Warner's longtime girlfriend, and by all accounts, the love of his young life. Their romance was tender, real, and deeply meaningful. But in 1998, Michelle Thomas died of cancer at just 30 years old, leaving Warner devastated. His wife shared how present that grief remained even decades later. When I married him, I knew I was walking into a heart that had already been broken in ways I could never fix. Michelle was a part of him. She always will be. And there were nights I could feel her presence in our lives, not because he spoke of her, but because grief never dies. It lingers, it whispers, and it sometimes builds walls you don't even realize are there. For many spouses, such a shadow might feel unbearable, but she admitted that instead of trying to erase Michelle's memory, she learned to live alongside it. I realized that loving him meant loving all of him, even the parts that belonged to someone else long ago. That wasn't easy. There were moments when jealousy tried to creep in, moments when I wanted to ask, "Am I enough?" But I had to remind myself that grief doesn't compete with love. It just exists, and my role was never to erase her, but to love the man who carried her. Regina King and Other Loves Lost. Michelle Thomas wasn't the only past love that shaped Warner. His relationship with actress Regina King was highly public and, to fans, seemed destined for longevity. But when it ended, it left Warner bruised and hesitant to fully open his heart again. His wife admitted how much that breakup colored their marriage. Even years later, I could feel the caution in him. It was as if he was waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for me to disappoint him the way life had disappointed him before. Loving someone who is afraid of love requires a patience most people don't understand. You have to keep proving yourself, keep showing up until the walls start to come down. This patience was tested again and again, especially when fame magnified every move they made. In the age of tabloids and gossip blogs, Warner's private life became a target, even when he tried his hardest to remain invisible. Rumors swirled, headlines speculated, and whispers sometimes found their way back into their home. His wife confessed how painful those times were. It's one thing to deal with the challenges inside your marriage. It's another thing when strangers with no understanding of your love start throwing stones at it. There were days when I had to remind myself that the only voices that matter are ours. The world doesn't know our truth. We do. The struggles of fatherhood. In her confession, Warner's wife also revealed the weight her husband carried as a father. Warner became a devoted dad, fiercely protective of his child, yet even fatherhood carried its challenges. He wanted to be there every second, and when work pulled him away, he carried guilt that aided him. That guilt would sometimes bleed into our marriage, because when a man feels like he's failing as a father, it's hard for him to show up as a husband too. I had to remind him, over and over, that love isn't measured in minutes. It's measured in presence, in effort, in the quiet moments that matter most. She recalled countless times when Warner would stand silently at the door of their child's room, watching her sleep. He would whisper, "I just want to get this right." That's the kind of father he is. And sometimes I wanted to shake him and say, "You're already getting it right." But men like him, men who've lost so much, always carry the fear of losing more. And that fear becomes part of everything they do.